Hello, everybody. So, this week's topic is called Out of Sight, Out of Mind. So, there is a reason why I did name it that, which I will explain in my video a little further down. So, your self worth really comes from a place of what you think about yourself, how you describe yourself, what you think about yourself, how you would describe yourself to someone if they asked, who are you? And it's kind of like an interview. If when you go to an interview, they're like, well, tell me about yourself. So it's like that, but in a much deeper sense. When we tend to go through things in life, we kind of forget who we are. And part of the reason that is because we don't remind ourselves enough. I feel like we give ourselves the short end of the stick so often that we get so used to it. And then when it comes to a time where you need to remind yourself of who you are, it's like impossible because we don't practice that enough. We're not mindful enough on who we are as a person, and that's why it is hard to value ourselves because we don't practice that as much as we should. There could be so many different factors that affect our self esteem, how we view ourselves, how we value ourselves. I think the two top rated factors would definitely be friendships and relationships. That is just my opinion. There is, like I said, tons of factors that affect how we view ourselves. To go ahead and give an example before I kind of explain this topic, out of sight, out of mind. If you were to go to a job interview and you didn't get the job, you're going to feel disappointed, naturally. But at the end of the day, you kind of know what you have to offer. You kind of know what qualities you have. You go into that interview as confident as you can be, and you have all those qualities in your head. They're running through your mind. Like, I'm good at this. If they ask me this question, I know I'm good at that. So even if you didn't get it, you kind of already prepped yourself of how great you are, of all those great qualities that you have, and you're on to the next one, right? But with a relationship, when when it first all starts out, you have those qualities in your head and you have those positive vibes about yourself in your head. And then if it comes to a point where it didn't pan out how you wanted it to, we come crashing down on ourselves so hard. And comparing it to the interview, yes, you didn't get the interview, but you still have what you have to offer in your head. And maybe it is two different concepts, but it's kind of the same idea, and that's why I'm using an interview as an example. And when we come crashing down on ourselves, we keep it going. We put all this negative stuff in our head and we just forget why and how we value ourselves. And that's something that we have to train ourselves to change. If you know exactly what type of person you are going into a relationship and you're full blown confident, those are qualities that you have to keep in your mind throughout the relationship, even if it doesn't work out how you wanted it to. Because if you let those qualities slip through your mind and slip through the cracks, you're going to forget who you are. And you should never allow anyone to have that effect on you, where you forget who you are and forget what amazing qualities you have and what you bring to the table. And it's sad because I feel like that's where a lot of self-esteem, value issues come into play. Because relationships, friendships, those are all very big parts of a person's life. Because if you lose sight of that, out of sight, out of mind, if you lose sight of that, of who you are, it's going to take you twice as hard to try and catch up with yourself, to try and value yourself, If you leave a negative situation knowing that you have still so much left to offer, just like the job interview, you won't be as crushed. You won't be as hurt. You will be hurt. But if you keep in mind those qualities that you have as a human being, you will come out on top. You will feel like you're at the bottom, but mentally you will be on top. Going back to losing sight of yourself. So in my blog for this week, I mentioned in there two very, very important things. Number one, I don't know who I am without you. Number two, I don't know who I am with you. And I wanted to explain this in a vlog because it's so, so important. If you feel this way, one or the first one or the second one, if you feel this way in a relationship, it is a red flag. 100%. Let's go to number one. I don't know who I am without you. When you are thinking, I don't know who I am without you, you are saying, if this is something that you're thinking, you are telling yourself and you are training yourself to basically have no identity without this other person in your life. I don't know who I am without you. And it's much more of a codependent situation. You're codependent on having someone else in your life. And you have not put yourself at priority at all. You never want to think that way. You never want to train yourself and tell yourself that without this person, I don't know who I am, because you are still someone without this person. And you still matter without this person in your life. And telling yourself, I don't know who I am without you, takes away any sense of value that you have to yourself that is there, but you aren't allowing yourself to see the value that you have because you're telling yourself, I don't know who I am without this other person in my life. And you don't want to tell yourself that. You don't want to be codependent on someone else to make you happy. And you have to be happy without someone. You should be able to be happy without someone. And that is definitely another topic that I'm going to do one of these days, because that's a whole other ball game too. If you are an amazing soul and you have so much to offer and you're just so genuine and you're down to earth, you're a caring person, and you just have all these qualities that you know that you have and that somebody could value that one day, don't let one person take that away from you. Don't let someone do that to you. And when our anxiety hits, it's hard not to think that way. It's hard to not realize who we are. But you have to think mind over matter. You have to control your mind to see that you're all these amazing things. Write them down, write it on a whiteboard, write it on paper, write it on Microsoft Word, write it down on your phone. Write it down. Train yourself to know and to see what you are as a person, who you are as a person. Because when these situations arise, and it may not be the first time and it may not be the last time, and when these situations arise, you can prevent feeling like you're truly, truly at the bottom. And sometimes you're going to feel like you're at the bottom no matter what situation it is, but you can uplift yourself by reminding yourself who you are as a person and not letting someone dictate that by their actions or their words.